If I do that on the spot code, I will get it wrong. 50% chance I will get it wrong because my emotion could have taken over when I walk to the property, thinking that, wow, this is a lovely home.
We're going to get straight into it because in this market, we're talking about evidence versus opinion. And I think more so than ever,
with the introduction of artificial intelligence, AI, make our job much simpler. AI is not going to replace human beings. It's still us that is telling the AI what needs to be done.
Howe is back again, partner agent from Raine and Horne, Lower North Shore, which is Northbridge, Willoughby, Lane Cove and Mossman, with an MBA, 20 years in banking and 30 years in real estate. He's back again on the podcast show. David, welcome back.
Oh, getting me back. Yep.
It's very good. It's very good. Now, Dave, we're going to get straight into it because in this market, we're talking about evidence versus opinion. And I think more so than ever, coming from the strategy that yourself recommends to all their agents within your office and outside of your office, very important factor around evidence versus opinion. And I want to hear from you a story that recently that you've gone through on how much of an impact it really has when we talk evidence versus opinion. I want to hear that story.
Okay, I heard the two homes, both were unsuccessful, listed by other agents. I took it on, supply the vendors with evidence that the pricing, they were both overquoted as we understand. And with the help of my team and I, we got them to understand where the market is, help them prepare the property for sale, and then subsequently both houses were sold by us pre-auction. So which they achieved their expected result, not the pie in the sky result that was promised by the other agent. And therefore, they were happy with the end result. Yeah.
Amazing. So is this always been a theory of yours, talking about coming from a spectre of providing the evidence? Where did this begin for you?
I would probably say that with the introduction of artificial intelligence, AI, make our job much simpler in gathering the facts and figures. And we have, with my colleague Carl, we have come up with a metric system that we can appraise any property with regard to going to the property for an appraisal. We want to make sure that we get the correct figure for that. And if it's not the right figure, then we probably would rather stay away from the listing and avoid it because it will be a waste of time if the disparity is maybe about more than 10%. Okay, if it's within the range of, say, 0 to 5%, then obviously there's a chance we will look at the property and try to, I don't like to use the word educate or condition, but inform them of what's currently on the market, what they are competing with, and what's sold in the local market to justify the prices.
I like your mantra when you're discussing with your sales team, how can this decision be backed by evidence? What have you noticed with the change in conversations amongst the sales team based on that one question? Do they now come to you in those sales meetings with their evidence, or are some still on that learning trajectory of making sure that they've got their I's dotted and their T's crossed when having those conversations around the different properties that they're working with their clients?
They get more naked track of every single listing in their core area, in every sale as well. What it sold for, what it listed for. And with those data collected over, which I've done so with over the last 5 years, I've got all the information gathered. So it is easy for us to actually pinpoint the actual appraisal figure, then to give them figure that they would like to hear, which Obviously, the higher the figure, the vendor really appreciates it, but we try not to give them high hope in terms of giving them a figure they like to hear, but in actual fact, the market is not saying so.
So I understand that obviously with the introduction of AI, this process has really helped you scale these decisions quicker and gain the evidence a lot quicker. But I wanted to take you back to before the world of AI and still coming from this evidence base. Was there a time in the past where you got it wrong, where you potentially made a mistake, or you thought you had this, but you actually got that? Is there any story that you could share where possibly where you didn't get it right?
Okay, could be if I do get it wrong, and without the introduction of AI, I still collect data as well. So to me, data is very important, but AI just make it simpler. If sometimes, okay, there were cases whereby, let's say a vendor, they call you to the meeting and they said, I want to know the figure right now. Okay. And that's the situation that I dislike purely because I have not done enough research to deep dive into the actual figure. And if I do that, if I do that on the spot, if I do that on the spot code, I will get it wrong. 50% chance I will get it wrong because my emotion could have taken over when I walk to the property, thinking that, wow, this is a lovely home. Give them their price that they might be wanting to hear. And therefore, at the end of the day, when I go back to the office and I run full numbers through, they just don't stack up. And that's the possibility of me putting a wrong price to the vendor. So from now onwards, I very rarely do I actually give a vendor spot on price unless I know the property at the front.
So we're talking about AI now, and you recently attended our AI intensive, but you've been using AI for a little while now. Where are you finding it besides gaining this incredible evidence to support your recommendations with your vendors?
Okay.
Where else are you finding great traction with AI within your business?
Okay, I have to say that AI is not a tool that you can use if you don't have the data to back it up. So to me, collection of data, understanding the market is important. Then you use the correct prompt to tell AI what to do for you in terms of getting the right figure. So AI doesn't know what to do if they don't have a handler to tell them the exact thing that you want the outcome to be. So I think, rest assured, AI is not going to replace human beings. It's still us that is telling the AI what needs to be done. Why am I giving certain formulas to derive at the figure?
And what about those agents who keep their heads in the sand in relations to AI? Where do you think they will be if they don't lean in to utilizing AI within their businesses within the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh, they'll be left behind for sure. AI is something that I highly recommend agents to take note of it to make sure that they understand how to use ChatGPT, how to use Perplexity. There are so many AI instruments out there that they should get themselves acquainted with, and it would help, I would say, take them by anywhere between 30 to 50% of their time collating information when they have AI to do it within a couple of minutes. Yeah.
You said before that you've built your whole reputation around honesty and that personal attention with clients, which is absolutely phenomenal. But how do you make sure AI doesn't dilute that human touch point that people come to you for?
Oh, whatever AI turned out, what was good, as a human being, you have to counter check the output. because it is not foolproof. They will give you the information that you require, but it still needs the agent or the person who requested for the information to make sure that all the all the T's and whatever you say are crossed. It is very important. Not depending on AI 100%. It is a tool to help you make your job much easier.
So taking us, say, down the rabbit hole from, say, 6 months from now, where do you see, yes, we've got some great back-end process efficiencies within AI, but what about getting the business? What about prospecting? What about listing opportunities? What about appraisal opportunities? Where can you see AI really help the agents over that next, say, 3 to 6 months due to the speed and the uptake of the power of some of these platforms?
I'm learning every single day. Okay, AI is constantly changing. There are AI tools to do prospecting. There are AI tools to get you leads. I think there are still firms out there using AI to get agents to sort of empower them to go to that direction. I do AI for part of my business. I still do need other people out there to assist me to getting leads or whatever. It is still important. It's not a one-man show. AI is helping every single part of the real estate business to move forward to the next level.
Fantastic. And so where do you think you mentioned before about potential gaps of still having that human connection. Are there any other gaps where people can lean too much into AI and forget about that human connection and those conversations?
I don't think so. I think the human connection or the human touch is very important. If you don't give them the correct prompt or idea to arrive at the end result, you will not get it. But as I said before, if you don't collect the data upfront, you can't input it to the AI to generate the result. So you still have to do the hard yards of gaining the data, get it done for yourself, and then ask AI to turn out result you would expect down the track. AI is not going to tell you, oh, your correct appraisal figure is this figure, 1.2 million. They can't do that. It's you supplying them with the relevant sales, the relevant listing competition, put it in the AI, and just say, with this, what do you see? A 3-bedroom house in this local lower North Shore area, what would it sell for having this information or data in front of you? And AI should be able to turn out the figure for you that way.
Obviously, as a leading agent within the team and then also as a partner agent within the team, how do you guardrail other team members so they don't go off and do the cowboy style of AI? How do you ensure that it's within your ecosystem, within the business, and ensuring that you've got some checks and measures in place that the whole team is following an AI system? Do you have any policies? Do you have any procedures? Do you have any rules around the use of AI within the business?
We are quite highly dependent on Excel for our data collecting. We just have to ensure that the data collected is updated every single day. So when a vendor calls me up for an appraisal, within minutes, I should be able to tell what the property is worth. Within minutes, I have a metric in my system that I can input some figures in, land size, land value, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, parking. All this is input into the system, a spreadsheet, and it will generate an approximate appraisal figure before I attend appraisal. So I just want to make sure that my team does that efficiently. We will not want mistakes to occur at the property.
So seeing the power of some of these platforms now, and hearing some feedback over in the US market, I'm seeing a lot of these platforms like your ChatGPT, like your Claude, actually getting listings or actually getting properties coming through that platform. Do you think they will ever take over the likes of Domain or REA or some of those Zillows or some of those bigger platforms just due to the power of, or do you think they will actually merge with some of those big real estate platforms? Any ideas, any thoughts around that?
We have seen prices in those firms dropping a little, solely because of AI. And I do believe these firms will be utilizing AI in their business to make it even better for the end users. So I don't see them disappearing straight away or right now. I think AI will help everybody put the real estate market into a region whereby we have not been using before.
So if you had a recommendation or a bit of advice for maybe a young real estate agent who's looking to, or even a principal looking to start leaning into AI and the use of AI, what would be maybe one or two recommendations or suggestions you could share to the audience around starting to learn more around AI?
Start collecting data. Use the data into applying AI to get the end result that you want. AI can actually create a lot of stuff for you to use in your, but it cannot do it without data that you have not collected. So if you're a beginner, you're doing it right now, my suggestion is to start collecting, see what's currently on the market in your core suburb, see what sold in your core suburb for the last, maybe if you can do it within the last 3 years, I think that's sufficient, and then go from there.
Fantastic. David, is there anything, we've talked about the evidence and the opinion, we've talked about AI. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience today that could really help them on their real estate journey?
I think back to when we started and back to the conversation the seminar that you conducted on AI, I do believe AI is very important moving forward. If you have not jumped into the wagon yet, go on to learn how to use Claude, how to use Perplexity, how to use that GPT. They are minimum subscriptions and they are worth every cent.
Fantastic. David, really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, your expertise, and your energy, and thank you for being on the show today.
No, thank you, James, and thank you for inviting me again. Hope to see you soon.